And tell you what I smell. But more importantly, most important, is that I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna let my imagination do the work. I'm gonna let you know where these candles take me. I'm gonna set off my Halloween nostalgia. This way, hopefully, we can paint the portrait and create a little bit of smell-o-vision between you and myself. How does that sound? Let's not waste any more time.
Are you ready? Are you prepared, Elsa, for Smell It Sunday on Aromatically Speaking, the secondary channel of the candle enthusiast? Elsa, are you ready? You're not responding. And why do you get nervous as soon as the camera goes on? You were just tearing up all my things, acting like a complete lunatic, and now somehow you know the camera's on, and you want nothing to do with these folks. Well, it's not that they don't want nothing. Don't take it personal. It's not that she doesn't want anything to do with you folks. She's just, I guess camera shy. I'm not even kidding. She knows when the camera is on. You're hearing double talk. It's not because I'm talking twice. It's because there was a video playing of mine down below. Welcome everybody to Smell It Sunday on the Candle Enthusiast secondary channel, Aromatically Speaking. We've been on the Candle Enthusiast a lot. You know, when it comes to live videos, spontaneous live videos, semi-spontaneous live videos for a while. But you know what? Aromatically Speaking was just being neglected. Elsa, this is not working out for either one of us. Why don't you go find something to play with on the floor? Thank you for messing up my hair. Not that it was anything good to begin with. Just be calm. Be calm. Welcome everybody. Let's pull you guys up. I can't see the phone. So I can't even see your comments yet. But if I refresh this page, I can see, I can see now. And I don't like the framing. Let's just lower that just a tiny bit. How we all doing, guys? I'm gonna quickly, well, first of all, I'm gonna start doing this. I want to address everybody and anybody who is new to both the Candle Enthusiasts or Aromatically Speaking. Let me just quickly explain what's going on. This is a live stream. If you're tuning in right now, well, you might be watching it later, so there's really no way to tell. This will be available to watch later when it's not live, but I am going out live right now, and this is something that we've been doing for well over a year, every Sunday, 2 p.m. Standard Eastern Time, or as I call New York City time, just to make it easier for those abroad. We go live. We talk about candles. We talk about whatever comes up. Usually I try to set the stage with several topics so that we do have some sort of path to talk about. Last week we did a really great Q&A, and I never re-watch the lives. I usually just check them out to see if it looked okay, and I changed the thumbnails. But I rewatched all of last week's Smell It Sunday. It was on the main channel, and I actually enjoyed the experience. I enjoyed listening to myself, but more importantly, I enjoyed not listening, but reading your comments, because you can actually read the comments in real time while reviewing the live video. Look at the crowd that is in the house. I would love to call everyone out by name. Do we have anybody new, folks? I know all of you. Isn't that crazy? I know everybody that's in the chat room. But if anyone does stumble in that's new, or anyone who is watching later stumbles in that's new, we are going to talk a little bit about candles today. I was trying to have like a nice high concept candle discussion, but right now I'm just in the middle of finishing up candle evaluations for autumn and Halloween, so this way it frees up my time to go out and travel. Last weekend I was at the Yankee Candle Village in South Deerfield, Massachusetts, And that video took me a lot longer to film, or I should say film, edit, than I anticipated. Man, it's been a while since I've done a public live vlog. It's been several months, and I found myself being a little rusty, not only in my performance, but in the way I was conducting my footage taking. It was like, essentially was like putting together a puzzle, because I had all of these files in front of me on my computer, and it took me a while to put it together, but I thought that the response was very kind, and I was happy, and it really does mark my 3rd annual anything. It's the first time I could say it's my 3rd annual. It was my 3rd Halloween Yankee Candle Village party, preview party trip, and I'm happy the way it came together. And thank you for all of the wonderful comments that you guys left. And if you haven't checked out the video, make sure you swing over to The Candle Enthusiast, the primary channel, subscribe, watch that video. Especially if, you know, I know there's a lot of people are unhappy with Yankee Candle Halloween this year. I understand. There's good years, there's great years, there's questionable years. But I think I mentioned this to Jordan. I don't know if Jordan is here. I think what's most important is that, well, you know, whatever this scenario is, it's to find the holiday spirit, right? That's what's most important, at least when it comes to making my videos. So I tried to do that. But I don't know. It's amazing if you look at how people look at Yankee Candle Halloween for 2018 here in the U.S., what they have to say, their take. I got this calic, guys. We're going with it. We're just gonna go with it, and we're gonna pretend like I'm doing this on purpose. But if you listen to the folks abroad, I don't even want to say abroad, but just outside of the U.S. in general, it's amazing how, in stark contrast, how they will look at the video and leave a comment on my video and say completely different things of how they wish they had these accessories for purchase. They wish they had the Yankee Candle Village. So I don't know. I don't know how to analyze it. What I am sure of is I am a little bit tired of the talk about Yankee Candle in regards to, was it good a year? Was it a bad year? I can't believe they did this. What is Yankee Candle doing? Because ultimately we have no choice, or we don't have a say in the matter. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. All we can do is sit on the sidelines and hope for the best. I would imagine we all want the best, right? All right, what are we saying here? Nancy says, I like the shirt. Yes, you know what? It's finally the time of the year. I'm a layers person. I never do short sleeves, ever. But it's still warm enough where I can't do, like, full sleeves. And I don't want to be rolling things up. It just makes me feel confined. But we're starting to get to the point of the year where I can wear layers again. Let's face it, I just don't look good in a t-shirt, and I like wearing layers. I like wearing jackets. So, although you've probably seen this one a couple times, I'm probably gonna buy a few more of these. I'm gonna see if they can go on sale, but because with the summer season, or the summer season coming to an end, the short sleeves may not be in demand. I don't even know which cup I'm drinking out of. I got water here, coffee here. But I'm liking having the layers back. What else are you guys saying? Rianne says, my doggy loves the camera. Well, that's good. Elsa, she's already passed out. She's like, you know, I mean, I guess it is 2:21 p.m., so I guess it is her nap time. And Horror Queen Lars says, Carol, my dog hates her picture being taken. That's kind of like Elsa. She just has the intuition to know. You look good in the shirt. Thank you. Woolrich has good deals. Mainframe. I don't know if we have a Woolrich in my area, or if it's even in the East Coast, because it doesn't look. That name does not sound familiar. Hi guys, don't worry about the hair. Mine is in a bun on top of my head, and it's even falling out. Actually, it's more on the side of my head, says Stephanie. Well, that does make me feel a little bit better. I figured, it's Sunday. It's best to be a little bit laid back anyway. Why does that look so gloomy? That should be a bright, shiny day. Let's see if we can change that. We can't, because this battery is coming to an end. But in less than 2 minutes, that will change. I'm getting compliments on the colors. Thank you very much. I like wearing Pendletons when it's colder. I like anything, man. You know what I love? Wearing peacoats. I know it's way too soon to talk about peacoats, but I have like if you've ever seen me wear a peacoat, good chance it's my father's authentic from the Navy. He was he was in the Navy during Vietnam, right? And he, like, this peacoat, they just don't make them like this anymore. You know how peacoats ball up after a while, and they're really soft? They almost start feeling felt. Like, this thing is like a shield. It's waterproof, it's heavy, and it's lined on the inside. Remind me to show you if I'm ever wearing it. It's lined on the inside with thick corduroy, and it still has his name on there. On the inside of the jacket. So it's kind of cool it's like wearing my father's dog tags, only I'm not wearing his dog tags. I'm wearing his peacoat. So I do want to say hello to everybody. Thank you for joining in. Let's read the headline of this video today. It says, "You play the producer." I think I have a good take for this. This was a last minute idea, but I think this might bring up some interesting conversations. So if you've been one of those people who've sat back on the sideline, or you've said to me flat out, "Shane, you should do this. Shane, you should do that. Shane, I've always wanted to do this, but I haven't had the chance." I think we should open it up to a discussion. I want to hear, because I have my agenda, I have my calendar filled out, but I really am curious. I want to hear what you guys would want to do, and not necessarily would want to see me do. I mean, I think that's interesting too, but how cool would it be if someone said, "I've always wanted to do this," and in my head I would never come up with that idea. You could share that idea, and then maybe we can make that a possibility, because during this season, September, October, November, December, I am out. I do lots of road trips. Already I've had some projects kind of fall through, and this is not like a sad thing. This is just normal production stuff. Dates have to change, there's conflicts, things have to go, things pop up. So there's always time for plan Bs, plan Cs, and I would love to hear what you guys think. I want you guys to be the producers. Since this is the secondary channel, which means you guys are a little bit more involved in the candle enthusiast, the way I see it, I'd love to hear your opinion. But it also says, the headline also says, "New candles." So, yes, I said by the end of August I wanted to have the majority of all my candle evaluations done, so that I could travel and not really have all the candles done. So this way I could focus all my attention on traveling and not being in a place where I have to conduct candle evaluations. But I was laughing because I was watching, excuse me, it's the coffee that gives me those little mini burps. I apologize, it's embarrassing. But I was watching the Candle Cafe, Anthony from Candle Cafe. After I posted my Yankee Candle Halloween video, I wanted to check out his, and he was saying how he has so many candles that he has to evaluate. And I'm like, wow, I'm glad it's not just me. And I can testify and say that I've spoke with folks like Brett from Philly Candleman, huge shout out to Brett, and Doug from Spooky Villages, and they're kind of in the same scenario. It's just been a heavy autumn candle season, which is great. But man, I really have to get to work. So I'm going to be showing you some of the stuff that I'm working on, some of the things that you haven't seen yet. I have just a bunch of stuff laying around, things that I was supposed to do before autumn that I never got to. I will eventually get to it, but I can't do it now because it's autumn. So I'll show you some of those things. So there's a lot of candles to see. It would be like a show and tell. I'm not going to do any in-depth evaluations because, again, those are for the videos. And play it by ear Sunday. Again, I kind of, last evening I said to myself, okay, what are we doing tomorrow for the live? And I'm like, you know what? We'll play it by ear. All right. But what's good is I'm going to try to keep my eyes on the comments as much as possible today. Now, just bear with me because they do move quickly. I would give anything for a proper winter here again, says Danny. In Texas, we don't have any winter anymore. I hear that, Danny. You know, Danny, I was in California for a while. There would be times in the summer, or maybe more like the spring, where I would actually have to stop for more than a couple of seconds and brainstorm and think, what time of the year is it? Holiday season, it's easy. You know, if you're wrapped up in Halloween, you're wrapped up in Christmas, you know, even like something like 4th of July, you kind of have a bookmark of what time of the year it is. But in California, Northern California, you sometimes just forget. Because there's flowers, there's fruit all over the place, hanging off the trees, mainly citrus. And you don't even realize, have a sense of what time of the year it is. So I hear you about the whole winter thing. Because it just never, it would only get cold. I lived in the Bay Area, so it would get cold early mornings, and that's it. I was born in Fort Collins, Colorado. Uh-oh, that's a much different story. And Travis says, I say the same about Central California. Central California. Where in Central? You don't have to share, Travis, but where in Central? Play it by ear sounds good, says to Nancy. Play it by ear sounds fine with me, says Laura. Travis, have you ever noticed some days in January here in Colorado can be quite mild? That's a question from Carol. And Travis says, yes. And I soak those gems up, but it doesn't balance early November highs at 5. Yeah. All right, we're gonna get this show on the road in a little bit, but like I said, I do want to keep my eyes on the comments today. And if I miss anyone's comments, don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. You know, I would never do anything to upset you guys. Let's check out some of these new candles. So, for a long, long time, longer now than it seems, in a place perhaps you... No, I'm just kidding. Since the introduction of Homeworks Candles by Harry Slacken. Harry Slacken's a gentleman a long time ago, was kind of the creator... I don't know my history of Bath & Body Works, but was the creator of Bath & Body Works candles. And it's over a year, it's well over a year now. He has started his own brand. It's essentially exclusive to QVC. And a lot of people during those early months, several months, the first year said, why don't you evaluate Homeworks candles? And it wasn't that I wasn't interested. I knew that there was other people doing Homeworks candles. like Anthony from Candle Cafe, and the list goes on. I mean, Brett, Doug, and God, you know who you are, who's out there, and they cover them very passionately. They talk about them more thoroughly than I would ever talk about them. They burn the candles. They tell you how they burn. They tell you all the intricate little details that everyone's very curious. I just smell the candle and tell you what I smell. That's all I do. So I figured I'd let those folks do the Homeworks candles. But since then, Homeworks has reached out to me. They've reached out to a lot of people. They have, this PR thing where they send out free of charge candles, and they simply just ask, we see that you're an evaluator or reviewer. I don't consider myself a reviewer, but they say, we see that you evaluate candles. Do you mind if we send you some? And I said, well, absolutely. And to be completely fair, Anthony from Candle Cafe did send me my very first Homeworks candle, and it did blow me away. And it's probably still my favorite on cold sniff. I haven't burned it yet. This one is ooey gooey salted caramel, and I cannot wait for the perfect time this autumn season to burn this one. This one is, it's outrageous. But the folks from Homeworks sent me candles. Harry himself has reached out to me on several occasions, and we have had some really nice conversations. And this is just not, trust me, from my experience dealing with the candle industry, other than very small companies, you know that I'm good friends with Liz from Witch City Wicks, and Melissa from Sempop Candle Company, and Nikki from Washington Wicks. I can have a one-on-one conversation with these folks. But when it comes to something like Homeworks, it's very strange to have somebody actually just want to have small talk. When Harry and I talk, it's not even always about candles. So they've continued to send me candles. I thought I was originally going to get a couple Christmas candles for Christmas in July, but they kept coming, and now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, oh my God, I have a lot of Homeworks candles. And you know how I do this, guys. I try not to just sit down and break down the candle without giving you some production value. Why? Because other people are doing that. There's, like I said, other people who give much more in-depth information are out there. And so I want to try to take my approach a little bit differently. Try to give you more context behind the candle. So when you watch the video, you can almost feel the mood of the candle. You can put yourself in the state of mind of what it's going to be like when you burn that candle. And that's not an easy task, because I have autumn, I filmed my autumn trio, I filmed my Christmas trio, I did a brief breakdown on the ooey gooey salted caramel, but I'm dealing with a whole other set of candles that I will be working on this season. And I just want to show you them real quick. So the ones that I'm going to be working on now, because these do fit into autumn, and I've really tried to, I'm trying to come up, I have good plans, trying to come up with very specific conceptual video ideas for these specific candles. So I'm going to take you places, we're going to do things, I'm going to try to elaborate on the candle, again, give you the visuals, give you the words to help create the smell-o-vision between you and myself. But check this one out here. Do I have a light? I always forget to bring my little light. This one is called, and I know it's flopped, guys, but I'm gonna read it for you. It's called Cranberry Pumpkin Cake. Let me take the lid off for a second. Look, can you look at this for a second? That is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. And I'll tell you what's also very beautiful about this candle is the aroma. If you haven't seen any of my Homeworks videos, or I don't know how you could have missed any Homeworks evaluation videos, this is what it looks like inside. Last year there was 3 wicks, there's 4 wicks now. Harry is very excited about how these burn. I'll be honest, I haven't burned one yet. This is why it's important you check out other Homeworks evaluators or reviewers. Kevin Campbell, of course. We have Drew, Anthony, like I said, Doug, Brett. There's so many wonderful folks out there reviewing these candles. But like I said, I have an idea for this video, and hopefully it will set the tone for this candle. But I have to say, I usually don't share my opinions, like strong opinions. If you hear noises, it's Elsa dragging things around behind me. I don't share my strong opinions in my evaluations. I try to keep it as objective as humanly possible. But that speaks to me. That cranberry pumpkin cake. So if you want to know what I like, if you feel like we have... Elsa, stop it. You can't be... No. If you feel like your nose, your preferences are similar to mine, that's something out of the bunch you might want to check out. And I'll tell you what it reminds me of. During November, December, maybe October, but I think it's November, December, Starbucks. I'm not saying Starbucks makes great, fantastic pastries. But we're in Starbucks, we get our coffee, we see that pastry counter, right? And every now and then, whether it's like a cupcake pop or whatever they call them, or a double fudge brownie, Starbucks, please bring back the espresso brownie, please. Please, it wasn't this cakey brownie. I'm going off on a tangent. It wasn't this cakey brownie, it was this dense piece of fudgy brownie goodness that had bits of cocoa nibs, not cocoa nibs, espresso bean pieces and really thick pieces of dark chocolate. But anyway, there's something that they have that gets me every year, the Cranberry Bliss Bar. Is anybody familiar with the Cranberry Bliss Bar from Starbucks, November, December? It's this brownie-esque, brownie, not chocolate, but it looks like a brownie. It's a thick, unleavened cake. Let's use those words. And the cake portion of it tastes like a cake made out of pie crust. Oh man, like graham cracker pie crust. And it's really soft. Some years it's cakey, some years it's really chewy. Those are the ones, I like that. I like when there's a little bit of a bite to it. But then it's loaded with frosting and cranberries, and it's just a wonderful treat to go along with a black cup of coffee or whatever your coffee is. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because that candle, the cranberry pumpkin cake, is definitely, when I smell it, it's, you know what I mean? It's making that connection. It's bringing me to that time of year, mainly Christmas. I remember one year I bought one during Christmas when everybody was at my parents' house. I bought everyone one, and they loved it. And I'm like, man, I should have brought more because they were on sale. They sell them in boxes. And I could have looked like a hotshot buying a really expensive box of Starbucks pastries, but I didn't. They were on sale. Patricia Heaton. Okay, I thought she just tweeted me, but for some reason I got a notification. Patricia Heaton. That would be strange, right? Deborah from Everybody Loves Raymond. So that is the one candle I will be working on. I have a good idea. I just have to pull it off. Give me some time. Okay, give me some time. I'll work it out. But the one I'm really excited about is this one right here. I've noticed a lot of people haven't gotten this one, and I really had to pull some strings to get this. But as soon as I saw it, I'm like, okay, I have a big concept for this one. And I want to make sure that I pull it off properly. So it looks like I'm going to be working on this one this week. This one is called Autumn Bonfire. And Oh boy, let's give this a spin around. Now, when you think of bonfires, what do you think of? Do you think of Greece? Do you think of homecoming? You know, the big bonfires that they would have at your high school growing up. What do you think about? Do you think about, you know, for me recently in the past few years, going to Old Sturbridge Village? They always have I don't necessarily say it's a bonfire, but it's a really big campfire. And when I was living in Napa Valley, they had, and this might be similar to other places in the country or the world, they had what they called burn days. You couldn't just burn a pile of ripped out vines any day of the week in Napa Valley, right? There was specific days that the town would grant you where you could burn. You know, a lot of most wineries every year they have vines that need to be ripped out, or when they prune the vines, they need to burn this material, and there's specific days that you can do it. But what that means is on those days, as you're driving through Napa Valley or standing in Napa Valley, it smells like distant campfire, and it's something special. It really is. Not only is everything hazy, it's probably not the greatest breathing conditions, but everything's hazy, and everything doesn't smell like smoke, like you know, when you stand too close to a campfire and your clothes smell like smoke. It's not that. It's the smell of a distant smoke. And one day I was outside. I was working at a winery in mid Napa Valley, Cake Bread Cellars. Shout out, Cake Bread Cellars. And it started to snow. It was snowing during the summer, late summer, and it hasn't snowed in Napa Valley in 27 years. And I'm like, what is going on? There's snow falling from the sky. But then, you know, a Napa Valley native came up to me. She's like, Shane, you're an idiot. It's 95 degrees out. It's not snowing. It's the ash from all of the fires throughout Napa Valley. And so it looked beautiful, but also there was something kind of special and spiritual if you want to go there, or just very symbolic and meaningful, because here you had all of these vines that had produced grapes that turned out to make beautiful wines that were consumed all over the world, very special wines, right? And now you're seeing these vines, they're ripped out and then they're falling from the sky. It's like a little mini ashy, snowy celebration of, you know, saying a little goodbye to, you know, a goodbye to some of these vines. Some of these vines over 100 years old in some of these scenarios. And I'm always looking on the romantic side of things, and that was the first thing I thought of. So anyway, autumn bonfire. I have a good idea for this candle, and I really want to pull it off, and I'm excited because it smells really good too. But I also have, check this one out. This one could fall in the autumn category. This could fall into the Christmas category. I think it does fall into the Christmas category. And again, this is why you need to seek out other reviewers on YouTube. Please seek out other folks. And if I may offer a recommendation, it would be Anthony from Candle Cafe, because I know that he gets a lot of these candles, and that he is, you know, he's good friends with Harry, so he's almost like a representative of this brand. But this one right here is called Maple Rum Strudel. Maple Rum Strudel. Oh man! And then you can see here, you know, you have like, you see the strudel, like we're looking on top of the strudel, and you can see like the apples inside, and it's split right there, like someone just sliced out a piece. That's what it is. It's a big strudel, and then right there is where I took my slice and I ate it. But you see the powdered confectioner's sugar on there, and there's some heavy-duty complexity in there. So that is one I'll probably also be doing before the Christmas season. But I bring up the Christmas season because I also have I did my holiday trio set, but I do have a couple of these. These are alternate Christmas candles. There's many of them, I think. But these are the ones they chose to send me. We have Season's Greetings. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Let me read the fragrances. I never do this, but since I'm not giving you my breakdown. Juniper Sprig, Winter Mint, Red Currant, and Balsam. So the Juniper Sprig, to me, is going to give you that citrusy Christmas tree. That's what that's telling me. It's going, Juniper is going to be like you took rosemary, pine needles, some pine sap, you put it into a mug, right? And then you took a slice of lemon, a slice of lime, and you squeeze that juice on top of all of that coniferous tree goodness, and you mixed it up, and maybe you threw it on the stove and you heated it up, you steeped it, right? You get a concentrated, very complex, big Christmas tree experience with the addition of balsam. Balsam is another fragrance note here, but red currant is a red fruit that people don't talk about enough, but usually red currant is used a lot in candles when it comes to things like winter berries, or a way to help make something like a cranberry candle more complex, or something that's just red fruit driven. Red currant's used a lot of the times when you see strawberry in a fragrance, and so that red currant in this case is adding to, for me, you see we have these white winter berries on the label here. I believe they go by an alternate name called ghost berries. I could be wrong about this. And then winter mint is going to help create the cold factor, right? We want that perception of cold in the air. So that one's going to be fun to evaluate, but I'm going to wait. I'm not going to jump the gun with Christmas this year. We also have Trim the Tree, and look at those ornaments. I love the color scheme. Whites on red. This was the color scheme in my kitchen and the apartment. My last California apartment was just white and red, and it happened by accident, but like every appliance that I owned was red, and it was just the whitest kitchen you would ever see. And oh man, oh yeah, I hate comparing candles to candles, especially when it's one candle company versus another candle company. But what I will say is, if you're a fan of Yankee Candles White Christmas, or if you're a fan of Yankee Candles White Christmas, but you're kind of, it could be too powerful for some people. Some people pick up certain notes on that candle and they don't enjoy them. It's a very powerful set. This is softer, right? Mulled spices. Okay. That would certainly not be the first thing I would say. Roasted apple, yes. Pine brandied cranberry. Okay, very playful names. I get the cranberry, I get the pine. Brandied cranberry. Like, what we would put into an old fashioned. I could see that. That's a perfectly fair statement. And blood orange is definitely something I smell on there. So very interesting Christmas fragrances. So that's Hallmarks. Just wanted to show you those. Let's check in with you guys right here. Elsa, are you okay? Are you crying? Are you crying? Do you not have any of your toys? I don't know what to tell you. You move them all over the place. And I don't know where you move them to. So instead, she finds dangerous things to play with. There's only a few Bath & Body Works candles that I burn, says Nicole. Interesting. Yeah, I guess it's the same with me. I have a lot of Bath & Body Works candles. I never evaluate them, so people think I don't like Bath & Body Works. But I have White Barn. I have Bath & Body Works. Right here on the shelf. Again, if it was clean, I'd show you. But this is not a clean situation. and it really truly does embarrass me. Once I have all of the candles organized for the season, then I'll start showing you a little bit more of what's over here. I just started Bath & Body Works candles, says Marshmallow Zap, Laura. So far, very happy with them. Yeah, I've never had a problem with Bath & Body Works. I don't think I've ever burned a Bath & Body Works candles that I don't enjoy. Oh, by the way, my main channel, Spiral Candles, spirallightcandles.com. People have been asking me, like, how, because I showed the time-lapse video. You guys have to check out that video if you haven't seen it, because this is really a really interesting company. This was a tall pillar, that orange candle right there was a tall pillar that had a cotton wick that wrapped around it, and it like the candle implodes on itself. And at the bottom there's a wooden wick, and you have, you know, like 2 inches of kind of like a 4-inch radius pillar candle. It is scented, it's gingered pumpkin, and I've been burning this thing relentlessly, and this thing is still going. So I have reached out to Todd from Spiral Light Candles, and I'm like, Todd, man, we gotta work together. I would love to highlight your company more often. I would like, because I know he makes different formats of candles, different diameters, different heights, different at least 12.5 fragrances. He's got a great. He's telling me he's got a great a coffee candle that he wants me to try. So I'm interested in that. But also, I told him, like, let's talk about possibly including. I don't want to give that away. That would be a secret. But maybe a possible subscription box token. Maybe. And speaking of subscription box, a little bit of self-promotion here. A lot of you have come out to me and said, I wanted to become a candle enthusiast, paid subscription box member. There's different options. We have the mini. We have the box. I call it the box. That's all. That's it. I don't want to call it standard because it's not standard. It's the box. That is the box. But there is also a deluxe version, and the deluxe has been sold out for quite some time. And people are like, "Is there any way I can get a deluxe?" And I just can't. You know, I just can't. I couldn't fulfill that many orders, specifically because I put a lot of things in those boxes that are one of a kinds. You know, things that I find on the road, little tokens. As I get to know you a little bit more, a little bit about your preferences and what you enjoy, I try to customize the subscription boxes to you. But we have an opening. There's the Candle Enthusiast subscription box, a deluxe open. It's no longer sold out. I posted this on the Facebook fan group a couple nights ago. It's too late for this upcoming month, but I'm saying once that slot fills up, that's it, because we're going to the heart of the season, right? So this is when all of the autumn, the Halloween, autumn phase 2, as I would like to call it, and the Christmas box in December. This is the time to do it. I'm promoting it a little bit, but I'm just putting it out there. So go to patreon.com/thecandleenthusiast. Check out all of the options. Again, there's a mini version, there's the box, and then there is the deluxe version as well. And there's several of the mini, well, there's one mini, I think, available before that sells out. And I believe there's 3 of the normal, I don't want to say normal, the standard box, and I don't want to say standard either, but between the deluxe and the mini, I think there's 3 available of those, 2 or 3. And that's really all I can fulfill. I can't do more. I would love to do hundreds. And remember, one thing I have to say about these subscription boxes, and then I promise I'll stop talking about it, is that remember, keep in your mind, this is a contribution, pledge, donation situation, right? It's like, you know, ever you turn on like PBS and you're watching like a Simon and Garfunkel concert, And they're like, we'll sell you this concert for only $500. And you're like, wait a minute, it's a DVD. Why $500? Well, they do that because, right, it's their way of saying thank you for contributing to a nonprofit situation, PBS. My subscription boxes don't cost that much. But yeah, the prices, if you go to the site, you'll see. The prices are set specifically so that it can help fund the channel. It keeps the channel going. It keeps me traveling. It keeps me doing stuff. But also, it helps for me to buy you your candles. All right. I'm the worst salesman in the world. And that's okay with me. I don't want to be a salesman. I want to be a Toys R Us kid. Let's get some more coffee in this Charlie Brown mug. What do you say to that, Elsa? All right, other candles. All right, see, this is, I didn't think this through. I gotta put these homeworks away in a safe place. Here's something. The box is open, but I really, truthfully, have not checked out what's inside yet. I know the company. After I put out my Which City, I keep saying Which City Wicks. I'm sorry, Nikki. Is Nikki with us? As soon as I put out my Washington Wicks video, I'm going to probably get right on this one. This is a company called Get Fictional, and we've become friends hyper quickly. I really enjoy their social media presence. And the products that they have to offer. Everything looks clean and beautiful. So I reached out to them. Oh, and they gave me, there's a note. I really have not seen this yet. I thought this was just a receipt. But they did send these to me for evaluation. I do want to put that out there. Not sponsored, but they did send these to me. Hi Shane, thanks so much for reaching out. I've included 3 4-ounce candles. Sleepy, well, let's not mention them yet. Okay, this is a part of a collection. All right, let me just read it. I've included 3 4-ounce candles, Sleepy Hollow, Frankenstein, and Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th is a part of a Halloween collection that will be released in September. So these are already, so the Friday the 13th is a part of the collection. The Halloween collection is, I'm guessing, already available. I've been so out of the loop with my schedule that I haven't even noticed. All these candles, that's me saying that, not them. All these candles are made with 100% soy wax and phthalate-free fragrance oils. They're all available in 16, 9, and 4-ounce sizes. If you have any questions, shoot me a message on Instagram or email me directly, etc., etc., etc. Thanks again, Keely. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. So we have our black, we're doing a little bit of an unboxing here. We have our black tissue paper. Let's take a look at these candles. All right. Again, maybe I'll do a quick little sniffy sniff, but I'm not going to do in-depth evaluations because I'm going to be doing videos. Wow. All right. I can't wait to take a better high definition photograph here, but can we see that? Okay, I don't know how to do it. Right there, we have a legit wax stamp, Sleepy Hollow, and a lot of literature here on the side. So let me read that to you. But this looks like an ancient 19th century or even 18th century letter that has been opened up. Sleepy Hollow, there's fragrance notes, I won't read those. He appeared to be a horseman of large dimensions and mounted on a black horse of powerful frame. Ichabod was horror-struck on perceiving Ichabod was horror-struck by perceiving that he was headless, but his horror was still more increased on observing that the stranger's head was carried before him on the pommel of the saddle. So a direct quote right from The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. Interesting. You know, it's funny because Sleepy Hollow Witch City Wicks is a candle I'm always talking about. And this is nothing close to it all. This has some brightness to it. This is a little bit like I'm wondering if that's like a juniper berry or like a citrus. There's a brightness. Definitely a base notes of some form of wood, but nondescript. And in a good way, right? You know, it's not like, you know, it's about the sum of its parts. This one will be fun. This one will be fun to talk about. I just need to, I never do this. Okay, I'm reading the fragrance notes. Rustling leaves, dark forest, spiced fruit. So spiced fruit is definitely the brightness, the tartness. And the woodiness is definitely that rustling leaves note. Kind of like a cedar. Interesting, very interesting. I might have to blast this with a little bit of heat. Because remember, I have a temperature controlled situation here. It's kind of cold, which does stifle the aromas here. But I think by blasting this with a little bit of heat, what I mean by heat, you can do this at home with a hair dryer, blow dryer. Usually what I'll use is, on camera I use a blowtorch, but you can use one of those kitchen creme brulee torches. Don't hit the wax with the flame, but just give it a little bit of heat. That will warm it up and really help the aroma pop. I might need to do that in this situation. But get Fictional Sleepy Hollow. What else do we have in this box? Here's another one. I mean, we already know what we have because Keeley has listed this off. Whoa! Friday the 13th. And man, we are not worried about copyright infringements. Well, I guess you can't really copyright, can you? Can you copyright the mask? Yeah, you know, with the name Friday the 13th and that mask, I'm sure that's a problem. It's going to be very hard for you to make that out. I spy a snowman, someone just said. I spy a snowman. Is there a snowman in the frame? Or are you talking about me? Woo, alright. This is interesting. I see the concept already. I didn't read anything on this. But first thing that's coming to mind, I'm like, okay, summer camp, campfire, woods. But then there was like a candy. I'm like, what the heck is this candy? Roasted marshmallows. Oh yeah, for sure. And this is not like, excuse me, roast marshmallows out of a bag. This is like roasted marshmallows without being burnt. That nice caramelized sugar on the twig. So I'm getting the woodiness of the twig, the marshmallow itself, and some baking spices. I'm not supposed to be doing in-depth reviews here. What is this? Fire roasted marshmallows and cinnamon. I look like such a phony because that is gonna look like I just read that before I sniffed it. I swear. Hand up. I swear on Elsa. Where's Elsa? That I did not read the fragrance notes. And they're not fragrance notes, it's a quick description. Fire roasted marshmallows and cinnamon. But I think that is a success, because if that's what she, Keeley, you know, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's the right way to say it? I don't know. Keeley's a pretty name for a girl, a woman, and a cool name for a guy. Masculine, I'm just offending everybody. Trying to be PC, and I just can't. Keeley, I don't know. We haven't been properly introduced in person. But that one definitely was a success. Not that Sleepy Hollow wasn't, but I definitely knew immediately the direction you were taking that candle. This one, Frankenstein, again, we have the wax stamp. And Frankenstein, I'm not going to read it, but it looks like we do have another quote from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. And let's give this a sniff. What would Frankenstein, what would you imagine? In the comments, not the comments, but in the chat, what would Frankenstein, if you were to make a Frankenstein candle, seriously, don't just go with the easy. Use your imagination. Like, if you want to say, like, burnt hair, go for it. That would be a terrible decision, but go for it. Woo, robust, all right. You know how I always know when there's cedar in a candle? Nicole's here, right? Nicole's here. If she's not here, she was here. She might like this. Cedar for me. Last week I talked about visual cues. When I smell a candle, an image comes to mind, and that's how I teach myself. How I taught myself to pick out singular notes in candles. Well, whenever I detect cedar, the image that comes up is the Tom Tom shop, which is kind of like a trading post. It's not. It's a trading post, but it's really for tourists, and it's T-shirts. But inside, there's a lot of items made from cedar, and they have those balsam fir incense sticks. So as soon as I pop the lid on this, I'm like, whoa, I'm in Lake George. But that makes sense, right? You think about the slab that Frankenstein is laying on, that thick wooden slab. You also think about the many trips that Dr. Frankenstein, Victor von Frankenstein, would take to the cemetery to grave rob all of the bodies that he would conduct his experiments on. And in the original Universal Classic, right, didn't he? Well, yeah, he did. I mean, they had to cut down a body from a gallows. So definitely that robust wooden note for sure. And that piney resin. I'm trying to say resinous a lot less. There's a lot of things I'm trying to say a lot less. But when I say resin, just think of sappy pine, citrusy. This would be a good, like, this could work for Christmas too. This could be Frankenstein Goes to the North Pole, right? There was a lot of really questionable titles in the 40s and 50s that try to capitalize on the success of Bela Lugosi's Universal, Dracula, Lon Chaney Jr.'s The Wolfman, and Boris Karloff's Frankenstein. We can go on and on and on. The Creature from the Black Lagoon, Carl Rains is the Phantom of the Opera. We can keep going. So, I think a great example, a fantastic film, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Great movie, but there was a lot of them that were very questionable. And this, to me, is like Frankenstein goes to the North Pole, Frankenstein meets Santa Claus, or the North Pole elves. But this makes sense, because forget about the movies for a second. If anyone's ever read, and if you haven't, I highly recommend it. This was the first book I ever read cover to cover, one sitting. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, of course, the full name, sadly not on here, Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. And look at the cover, right? We have, like, what is this, the Swiss Alps, right? Frankenstein has to make several long treks, as does the Doctor during the course of this novel. So, experiencing alpine conditions, and I said North Pole Christmassy, maybe that's the take here. So, a little bit less Boris Karloff here, and a little bit more Mary Shelley in its take. And I enjoyed it. I like it. I am going to have a blast reviewing those candles. And let me tell you, those 4-ounce candles, I don't want to like downsell, get fictional, but these 4 ounces are perfect. I love 4-ounce candles. They put out usually far enough fragrance for me, and they're a great way to test a candle out without having something super small like a travel tin. So Get Fictional. Check them out on Instagram, Get Fictional. And if you have these candles, if you purchase these candles, they're asking if you could hashtag Get Fictional. If you do go to Get Fictional and you follow or you leave any comments, all I ask, and it's for all of us, it's not just for me, all I ask is just hashtag the candle enthusiast or tag me, the candle enthusiast. Because what this does is it lets the company know that I sent you. So that means we may in the future get more products. So more products means more evaluations, which means more fun. And eventually, if we get so many candles, it just means more giveaways, because I can't burn all these candles. I have a big box. I really have to. This table is kind of like, it's become my like desk, right? Like my Good Mythical Morning desk. And I'm thinking that I might need to get something a little bit bigger because I'm already at capacity. Excuse me, at capacity here. We have a very large box here. And you can see it's sealed. This was sent to me by Colonial Candles. Now, my last evaluation was Colonial Candles Cobweb Collection. It consisted of 2 fragrances, Jack-O-Lantern. If Chris Rhodes is in the house, I think he bought the Graveyard Fog. It is here. I just gotta reach it. And these do come in wax melts as well. But check out that video. This is predominantly a black licorice scented candle. So if you're missing Yankee Candle's Happy Halloween, as I am, it's a great, really great complex candle to take home at a very fair price. I think anyone and everyone who's evaluated this candle through their PR, they did send these out for free. I think everyone who burned them legitimately enjoyed these candles, unless they had something against pumpkin spice or they had something against black licorice. I think Bren was a good example. I don't think Bren likes black licorice, and I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. I did watch her review. I'm not sure if she's a fan of pumpkin spice, but these were the 2 candles that I evaluated, and I had a great time with that one. That was a fun video to make. But they also have a brand new, some of these might be returning fragrances, but I'll be perfectly honest, I have not, I have very little experience with Colonial Candles, but they have shipped me the entire collection, and I want to share them with you right now. So some of these might be crossovers, some of these might work for Halloween, but if you're just looking for autumn candles, and maybe we're talking a little bit too much about Halloween candles, well, listen up. I will be doing, I don't know how many videos on these. It depends on what they are and what I come up with. But I won't be doing in-depth evaluations today. I apologize. This is not going to work. I'm going to put the box down here. Now that you've seen the size, it's not important that we stay there, but I do want to unwrap these. Are you guys interested in seeing what these candles are? Angie says, awesome, I love Colonial Candles. Well then, good. I'll try to do this quick. I might need my knife. Where's my knife? Here's the knife. Woo! All right, right from the get-go. Look at that. Can you see that? You might not. That is a copper, really shiny copper lid. That is like a brand new penny. Look, you can even see yourself. Or I guess see me in the reflection. That is a copper aluminum lid. Wow. Really nice. Again, Colonial Candle, they are not known for the 3-wick candles. Are they the ones that are cylindrical? I don't have experience, but if you guys do, you let me know. This one entitled Bergamot Amber. Bergamot Amber. So we have a kind of a dusted, sandblasted, frosted, metallicized, whatever you want to call it, glass jar. This will not scratch off, right? But you do have that kind of the frosted copper with the shiny copper on top that already has tons of fingerprints on it, which is driving me nuts, but that's just my OCD. It's a soy blend. It's 14.5 ounces or 411 grams. Burn time, I don't know. I really don't usually look at all that stuff. Oh, burn time, because it's not like I keep a log of how long I burn these. You know what's interesting? This is nice. This is not a powerhouse. But I am getting a very nice form of bergamot. This is not a tart bergamot. This is a cologne-like bergamot, but it's not heavy. It's not heavy. This is not a nauseating. If cologne fragrances nauseate you, this is not nauseating. And why I'm looking over here is because I'm trying to look for a candle. Have you guys heard of the candle company Boys Smells or Boys Smells? There was a candle that they had that I purchased based on a request. It was called Coin, and it was supposed to smell like copper. And I feel as though, even though it's called bergamot and amber, this is reminding me a whole lot of that candle, only that Boy Smells candle was really, 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 really low intensity. Maybe even too low intensity for me personally. Although, and I did burn it, to be fair. I didn't give it a long time to burn, but I did burn it for a while. This is nice. This is nice. Autumn? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think this is just a well-executed lighter candle. As far as burning, I don't know. But I like this. I'm just trying to give you like something to think about. I don't want you to think about cologne. Elsa, I'm gonna let Elsa go out and play. I'll be right back. Come on, Elsa. Go ahead. Come on. Come on. Go ahead. She was scratching at the door, guys. I didn't want to let her go play, create some mischief, get into the garbage. I don't know. I don't know. I am at a loss of words. Not because I can't smell it, but I can't really come up off the bat with what this would remind me of. It's a very nice smell. Like, I would not mind if my house or apartment smelled like that, as long as it wasn't super intense. Oh, and something else it's reminding me of now. Did you guys get that was it Central Park? It wasn't Central Park. I'm sorry. It was one of the Chesapeake candles that was available for Candle Power last year. It's like a little bit, it's not as complex as that, but it has this very nondescript, I don't want to say masculine, but just really nice home fragrance smell. Definitely a different form of bergamot than I'm used to. More of like what you would expect if you smelled like a higher quality bergamot oil. Second candle on the list is White Pumpkin, and we have a white non-frosted jar. This is a solid white, but it is somewhat translucent. We have the copper lid. All right. Coconut cream and pumpkin spice. That is an interesting combination. And I'm smelling clarified butter. You know, if you don't spend time in the kitchen and you've never clarified butter before, I've thought of something else that you guys can think about, because I use clarified butter all the time. the movie theaters these days. You know, back in the day, they used to have that like artificial butter that they would pump onto your bucket of popcorn. Well, now like some theaters are just going for the real deal. Like they're using real butter, but the butter that they're using is clarified, which means is in room temperature, it doesn't solidify. Okay, what they do is they remove all of the milk solids from the butter, and what you're left with is a super golden thick clarified butter. Something you can dip shrimp into, something you can dip scallops into, or in this case dump popcorn onto. So this does remind me of like a coconut cream pumpkin spice with that clarified movie theater popcorn. Interesting. A popcorn coming into the play in an autumn candle. I think that's perfectly fine with me. What is this? There's a box within a box. And it says mixed. Oh no. What has happened? What has happened, folks? I hear rattling. This is not good. I'm having mixed emotions. All right. Well, how many did not make it in the process? Watch, it's gonna be the one candle I was really looking forward to, and it is. Are you kidding me? Kids, don't do this at home. Nobody do this at home. But the one I was really looking forward to is absolutely destroyed. And, you know, dang. Let me show you what that one was. Can you read that? It says whiskey and, what does it say? I forget now. Whiskey and cedarwood. That is the most demolished candle I've ever seen in my life that I've received in the mail. It is just, this box has to be, I'm glad Elsa's not here. This needs to be like taped up and thrown away ASAP. But not only that, the broken glass has like done havoc on the lids and the labels. Oh man. This is what happens when you do it live. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm sure they will replace it. But these candles need to be cleaned. I'm not even gonna... Woo! It does smell good though. I was just about to say I wasn't gonna smell these because there's so much of that broken candle on these jars. But this one really smells good. You know what's really popular right now? You know it because you guys are candle fans. I'm assuming, right? Mermaids. Mermaids are so popular. Oh, Bath and Body Works, Spireside putting out mermaid stuff. There's not even in the candle world, just in general. It wasn't even all that long ago that Starbucks had that mermaid drink. It was that long ago. It was like well over a year. But mermaids seem to be very popular. And this jasmine musk, I wish they would give these names that weren't so literal. You know what I mean? Like, I smell jasmine. I smell a lot of musk. But give it a name, you know? I'm not putting you down, Colonial. Because a lot of candle companies do this, and most people prefer this. But when I smell this, the reason why I'm saying mermaid is because this does have that beach flower smell. And what I mean by beach flower, it's always that combination of like jasmine or like soft blossoms. There's always a little bit of lavender in there. There's a heavy-duty citrus note, which gives you the perception of, you know, when someone says like sea breeze in a candle, Well, you can't capture sea breeze and put it into an oil. You just can't, right? So how do we create that sea breeze smell? It's a combination of florals and citrus, and definitely a big time citrus note here. It's zesty, it's tart, it's juicy, but it's very floral, and floral, a clean jasmine, lavender smell. Let me give you one more. A non-clawing sweetness. I don't know. Let's leave it at that, because that really is probably all I'm picking up. But another floral component is this white floral musk. Most times you see the fragrance note, white musk, and people are like, well, what's white musk? White musk is typically classified as a synthetic musk. Everything is synthetic, because real musk, it's a big topic. It's not used anymore. But white musk usually implies that it has a very plant, botanical, flower petal, blossom petal smell to it. It's as if you took a bunch of blossoms, cherry blossoms, apple blossoms, and you crunched them all up. You know, you macerated all those petals. You're gonna get that very strong, musky smell. Musky is just that. You know, you can say leather musk. You know, if you smell fresh, brand new leather, that's musky. You could say musky in the sense of floral. You could say musky in the sense of fruit. But essentially what it is that it's, I don't know, musk is a big topic. How do you define musk? It's always been one of the hardest things for me to describe. But my point being is that, you know, in Neverland, right, Peter Pan, Mermaid Lagoon, or if you're a Blue Lagoon fan, Brooke Shields, right? If that movie has played a special part in your heart, played a special part in your life and has a special place in your heart. I remember being up really late one night when I was a kid watching that film because I didn't think my parents would approve. And I was up late watching it and I just couldn't stop watching. And I fell in love with Brooke Shields in that moment. So if, or what's that French film? The French film? I can't even think of the director's name, but the Big Blue, right? I think you can kind of use this candle for a lot. This is definitely an aquatic nautical thing here. And it's going to work in a lot of ways. So if you're a big mermaid fan, if you're a big beach fan, if you spend a lot of time on the coast or the shore or sailboats, you love that salty sea breeze, crisp air, this is pretty good. This is really good. I'm just really sad that these are so damaged because of that broken glass. It looks like someone just scraped that broken glass on top of these lids. And I really have to be careful that I do not have any shards of glass on me. Next candle is Pumpkin Sugar by Colonial Candle. These have all been Colonial Candles. And pumpkin sugar, yeah. Orange, classic, pumpkin color, translucent. Wax is kind of cracked inside. This is going to be a problem for evaluations because these candles need to be camera ready, and these are not camera ready. Please don't judge Colonial on the broken candles. You know, it's usually not their fault. Wow. None of these, other than that last one, are not incredibly blow your face off. But you know me when it comes to intensity. I like lower intensity candles. And, you know, I guess if you want to play it safe, you want your pumpkin spice, you want that candle that's going to, you can burn in your home, that's going to create that coffee shop in the fall environment. This is definitely the one. This is like freshly ground spices. You know, this feels like I have pumpkin spice in a bowl, like in powdered ground form, and I'm smelling it. And, and a little bit just got trickled up my nose, you know? Makes me a little sneezy. Because the way this will differ than traditional like pumpkin spiced candles is that there's not a baked quality here. Like, this is raw spice, which is kind of cool. It smells like a spice cabinet filled with your favorite spices. The ginger is really coming through. The cinnamon, obviously. The nutmeg might just be the star of the show here. There's some creaminess to soften everything up, which makes sense. Like, think of like a froth milk, steamed milk, heavy cream. And when I say coffee shop, what I mean is like, you know, because when you're making chai lattes and chai teas or pumpkin spice lattes, you know, just in the autumn, you always just have that lingering smell of spices in the air. And also because they're constantly pumping out that steamed milk, that frothy milk, you just get clouds of vapors, of milkiness, creaminess. And, you know, this is kind of a weird point to bring up, but if you are lactose intolerant, which the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I think I might be. I gave up dairy for a while, and then when I got back to it, it was really starting to create problems. And this is crazy, because cheese is dairy. Did you know that? I know you know that. But can I not have like fine cheeses anymore? Anyway, but another part of the sadness, even though I take my coffee black, I love the smell of, you know, that coffee shop, the heavy cream, the espresso beverages, the chai lattes, the whipped cream, right? So if you are one of the unfortunate bunch of people that are lactose intolerant, candles, baby. Candles are your answer. Because this will give you a little bit of that experience. I'm digging that candle. I'm digging it. Everyone check out Colonial. See if these are available for sale right now. I'm not sure. This is it's exciting. I am excited, but at the same time I'm extremely kind of bummed out because the one I was really looking forward to was that whiskey cedarwood, and not because I'm like a whiskey fiend, but those of you who know me know that I'm a beverage person. I worked in the beverage world, and I even told the folks at Colonial that I was going to try to take that candle to a distillery where they're making whiskey-based beverages, and they might need to send me new ones if they can. Some of these are just fine, but most of these are not camera ready. Like, I can't photograph that, right? If I photograph that, no one's gonna wanna buy this. So you see the dilemma. The candle is just fine, unless I switch the lid, but a lot of the candles, the wax is actually cracked inside. So anyway. Colonial candle. Something that's been put on my radar this year, and I'm happy it has been, because so far, again, I haven't burned anything, but there's been super positive reactions to the Halloween collection, and I pretty much dug everything I just sniffed right there in that box. The question is, do we have more candles? I think I've showed everything. I have 1803 candles. I've already showed you those in a previous live video that need to be evaluated. Village Candle and I are partnering up, and it looks as though I will be making, well, I shouldn't say that. I have such a bad tendency of talking and shooting my mouth. But so far it looks good. I have confirmation, there is no date set, but it looks like we might be visiting Village Candle up in Maine, right? And not only smelling a bunch of candles, but maybe getting a walkabout tour of the facility. I'm going to try to snag an interview and get a little bit of history on the company. And this is great because I'm genuinely coming from a place where I know very little about Village Candle. If you guys are not familiar with Village Candle, I'm sure you guys are, but just in case, they're the ones that you see, I see predominantly in grocery stores. They look like Yankee Candles, at least they, you know, when Yankee Candles had the full label. They come in the apothecary jar. They're a little bit bigger, and they have 2 wicks, right? And they sent me 4 candles to evaluate. The problem is they're all summer. And I know how you guys operate. Look at this jar. How cool is that? It's called a part of the Let It Glow collection. The problem with them sending me summer candles is that you guys do not, most of you don't tolerate summer candle reviews once like mid-July comes around. Because everyone, including myself, I think we all look for the season ahead. It's not because we're trying to rush time, but when it comes to buying candles, we want to have a better understanding of what candles we want to buy for the upcoming season. As soon as I posted my Yankee Candle Halloween preview party video, was it yesterday? 2 days ago? Whew, time is just, it's amazing how time is so elusive to me these days. But one of the first comments I received was, and this is not a bad thing. I'm not, if the person who wrote this comment's listening, trust me, I'm not, I hear you. But the comment was, I cannot wait for the holiday collection, meaning Yankee Candle's Christmas. I just posted Halloween, and it's not even the Halloween season. We have a good 2 months before Halloween night, and people are already starting to gravitate towards Christmas. And even though you say you're not one of those people, don't lie, don't lie. If I started playing a little Nat King Cole right now, or a little bit of Bing Crosby in the background, you might warm up to the idea of Christmas, right? At least for a moment or two. But man, I don't want to ruin the holiday. I don't want to speed up time. What are you guys saying down here? Lou brings up a great point. I'm assuming everybody knows that Colonial Candle is having a sale. Sorry if everyone has it's already been mentioned. Lou, it hasn't been mentioned, and thank you for bringing that up. I've probably been informed about that, but I've also probably forgotten, and I did not mention it. So if you did like my descriptions, not that I gave many of any of those candles, make sure you take advantage of that sale. Speaking of sales, Kringle Candle right now is having an astronomically awesome sale. I mean, it's dangerous because you could still fill up your shopping cart with hundreds of dollars easily. But there's a lot of candles that are like half off. And, you know, from prior experience, we all know that Kringle just doesn't usually do coupons or promos or anything like that. So to see the amount of sales they've been having recently is insane. And so if you really want to, you know, make your Christmas purchases for as far as candles are concerned, and if Kringle's a big part of your Christmas, I really dig Kringle Christmas candles. Complete honesty, completely open, sharing my opinion here, but I really think Kringle offers a really dang good selection, as far as darn good selection is probably what I should have said, of Christmas fragrances, something for everybody, and they're just so heartwarming, you know. They're just so heartwarming. But so if you want to take advantage of those sales, check it out. Stephanie says, I'm also lactose intolerant, and that stuff worked. What stuff? Lactaid. I've tried Lactaid because I'm a big cereal person. It takes zero thought. You know, you buy a box of like Special K, and you know, you're good for like snacks. But unfortunately, I don't know, lactate just didn't seem to make a difference. So maybe it's not lactose intolerance. You know, maybe it's something else going on. I almost said gluten, but then again, Special K, the cereal of my choice, is not. It's gluten free, right? It's rice. The Kringles sale is great. Oh, nice. I'll check out Kringle's site. Kringle has the best labels, says Chris Rhodes. Yeah, they do. They really have great labels. As far as best labels, though, I don't know if I'll say best labels, but you're right, Chris. Their labels are great. They're huge, and I haven't really made the big jump to the Country Candles, their secondary line, yet. I do have the Unicorn Poop, and I did review Unicorn Poop, but I'm a Kringle guy. You know, I'm a Kringle guy. Digestive additive advantage. Okay. Not lactate. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're not talking about lactate. You're talking about digestive advantage. It must be a product. I'll take a screenshot and look that up. They have milk that takes out the protein, takes the protein out, and they cause side effects. Can't remember the name of it. I always think of the Lewis Black bit that he did about shopping for milk. Always makes me laugh. I forget what album that was off of. Can't wait to see your holiday videos, and I can't, and I can. I can't wait to see your holiday videos, and I can. I hope that makes sense. Does it make sense? You can wait. I guess because you don't want it, you don't want to spoil Halloween, so you can wait. I think that makes sense. So good job. I got you. Just ordered Kringle Fireside on sale. Good for you, Stephanie. I thought that was sold out. I thought they only had like 1 or 2 left, but maybe you got it in a different size. So good for you. Yes, Hard Queen says unsweetened vanilla almond milk. Bingo bango. I'm all about almond milk. Almonds are just great. There's an almond allergy in my family, but thankfully I don't fall into that. So almond milk all of the way. I use almond milk for protein shakes. I use almond milk for cereals. It's just like when I'm on the road, you know, if I'm like somewhere like, say for example, like South Deerfield when I was at Yankee Candle Village, it's a small place, you know, like the nearest, you know, grocery store is like 25 minutes away. So if you're in the hotel room and you're like, you know what, I need milk. Guess what? You're not going to find almond milk. You're going to have to go to the gas station and buy milk. So it's kind of that's usually the issue, is just convenience of having stuff on hand. And plus, when I had roommates, you know, if you have roommates or if you had roommates and they don't do like almond milk, or they don't do soy milk or anything like that, try convincing them to go in on almond milk. I'd buy my own groceries and they would still get angry seeing almond milk, because they were culinary folks. By putting them in air quotes, I'm not putting them down, but they were very picky about authenticity. Okay, so what else is Nancy going? Bye, Nancy. Thank you for joining in. The producer and play it by ear. So we talked about candles. Let's have a talk. I'm gonna go all the way down to the bottom of the comments here. Whether you live in New England, whether you live far away from New England, whether you're in a different country, whether, you know, I don't know how else to say. Oh, I guess those are the only options. What's something that, rack your brain. Let's start it off with this. What is something that, if you've seen a lot of my adventure videos meaning like on the road, what's something, you don't have to be too specific, or just be as specific as you want, whatever you want. What is something you think would be a good idea for the show? What is something I should do? What is something you would always wanted to do but never had a chance? You know, when it comes to September, you know, do you want to see more spooky, fun, haunted house sort of adventure videos? We know we did, of course, everybody knows we did Lizzie Borden last year. I'm trying to work on something else that's equivalent, at least equivalent to that. Do you want to see more of like daytime farm stands, fairs, festivals? There's a lot of festivals this time of year. I was just going through like the upstate New York stuff that's like in my area. There's like pickle festivals and bacon festivals. And I'm like, that's interesting, and I could definitely do it. I'd probably have a great time. I just don't know. I want to make sure that I'm really hitting that nostalgia button. And let me try to explain. I'm reading your comments. Think about your favorite holiday special, whether it be Christmas, whether it be Halloween, or any holiday special. For me, what comes to mind is the two Peanuts Charlie Brown specials. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and Charlie Brown's Christmas. The very second those specials begin, there's something that happens. Does it happen to you? It happens to me, where it's this flush, this gushing of emotions. And I'm thinking, like, I've been watching these specials my whole life, every year, multiple times every year, and I still can't, what is that magic? What is it about your favorite Christmas movie, your favorite holiday movie, even if it's not a holiday movie, maybe it's like a romantic comedy, or maybe it's a horror film, I don't know. What is it that sets off that nostalgia? I'm trying, you know, it's been this long quest to try to figure it out, and I just want to make sure that when I'm making my videos this year, that I'm at least attempting to try to recreate those, to set off those cues, to push those buttons, to trigger those raw nostalgic emotions. What is it? What is that magic? What is that phenomenon? When you're watching It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and you see that first shot of Linus and Lucy walk down out of their house, down the stairs, and it's that two-dimensional shot of them just walking down the sidewalk to the pumpkin patch, and the Linus and Lucy theme is playing with the little flute in the background. Why does it pull out our heartstrings so much? Why does it work? And how can I recreate it? So my point is, and yes, Jamie Siegel brings up a fantastic point. The Garfield Halloween special, known as Garfield's Halloween Adventure, I think it was 1986, 87, I can't quite remember, but yes, Jamie, absolutely. That was one that I watched alongside of It's the Great Pumpkin every year. I love that one. And I was convinced that the old man in the house at the end of the episode was voiced by Christopher Lee, the very famous British actor who portrayed Count Dracula in all the Hammer horror films. And it's not him. I was so sad to find out it wasn't him. Stephanie, bam. And Diane, a huge high five to you guys. And probably other people too. I just happened to see them. Okay, and I'm gonna go back a little bit. Okay. I'm doing a Joe Pesci. Okay. Go pick your own pumpkin. I will be doing a pumpkin patch thing, that is for sure. I kind of did something like that a couple of years ago, but it wasn't it was associated with a Yankee Candle. I'm going to leave the candles out of a lot of the adventure videos. I really just want to absorb myself into the experience. So pumpkin picking, excellent choice, Horror Queen. Stephanie says festivals, autumn fun in general, day or night, says Carol. Fall festivals are the best. Pumpkin and apple farms. Diane says, which will be coming up. I was going to go out today and do it if it wasn't for the live. But next weekend, I have made good friends with a local family farm. I've always been friends with them, but I kind of reached out to them. And we're going to be doing that. Do apple cider comparisons. Oh my God, that is such a cool idea. I can't go to Georgia, but I think that's a great idea. But I want to go back and say to Stephanie, more holiday treats. So this is something I noticed about my past holiday videos. Whether it's Santa's Village, whether it's Sturbridge Village, whether it's Norman Rockwell, whether it's any of the Halloween places I've been to, I never focused on, except for Disneyland, I never focused on the treats. And I think that is something, that's a huge opportunity to go, so I can go to the same places that I know will work. They won't be like a dud. I can go to these places that I know photograph well, that's always a good time. But instead of just repeating myself, I can focus on the foods, the beverages, the treats, the seasonal things. I think that might be a really good way to mix things up a little bit this year, especially things like Santa's Village. I mean, there's so many things. They have cider donut bites, they have hot chocolates and coffees and concessions, and they have a whole house devoted to gingerbread. Old Sturbridge Village, they actually make gingerbread, not gingerbread cookies, but gingerbread, and they have their in-house or on-site bakery. So all of their cookies, all of their fudge are being made in-house. So I think the sweet treat comment is excellent point, Stephanie. So thank you for bringing that up. And then Diane says Hocus Pocus. So guess what I was doing yesterday? If you go way back to the very beginning of The Candle Enthusiast, one of my first videos, back when I used to call my travel videos the in-depth videos, the 8th in-depth video was simply called Salem. It was a Salem, Massachusetts video. It's lengthy, and I visited some places. It's the first time I actually got to meet face-to-face with Liz from Witch City Wicks. We had an interview in a graveyard. It's a fun video. Check it out. However, what happens is a lot of people don't find that video, and at the very end of that video, like the third act of that video, is about, I was supposed to go home, and I was like, I needed to leave Salem, but I just couldn't bring myself to leave, and I wanted to find something else to do. And that something else I wanted to do was to find all of the filming locations of the film Hocus Pocus. Now, Hocus Pocus was shot at Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, in Hollywood, Los Angeles. Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and the other witch, I'm forgetting her name, but she's really funny. She was in Sister Act. I know the actress. Thora Birch, and I guess the other people too. They never were in Salem. Some of them were. So I think the kids made a trip out to Salem. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can remember a few exterior shots. But the majority of the film was shot on a soundstage in Los Angeles. However, a lot of the exteriors, a lot of the establishing shots, yes, and one very particular scene that was shot with, what's the character's name? You guys are gonna kill me. The main character, the boy in the film, has that fight with the bullies in the cemetery. All of that stuff was shot in and around Salem. And what I did was, in that video, is I went to all the filming locations, as many as I could, and there wasn't a lot of information about these locations and where to find them online, so I hunted them down. The thing is, people usually don't get that far into the video, and a lot of people may not find like people might really like the idea of a Hocus Pocus video, but not want to watch the Salem video. So what I was gonna do is, I started it yesterday. I'm gonna probably finish it tonight and get it up soon. But I'm gonna take that Hocus Pocus filming location segment and make it its own little piece. You know, plus it up, as Walt Disney would say, plus it up. Get some better music in there. Try to color correct the footage a little bit more, and post that video so it stands on its own. Because in the very early days, I wanted to make these epic long vlogs, and everyone told me not to do it because it's better to make 10 to 15 minute videos. But I just wanted to make these longer documentary kind of vlogs, so I tacked everything together. So I'm gonna separate that one, and then I did have a big plan of going to Salem this year, and something in Salem fell through. I won't go into details about that, and it's, again, nothing bad. It's a part of the process. Things just fall through. So I'm gonna try my hardest to get to Salem. I just need to really think of something to do when I get there. A Nathaniel Hawthorne segment would be fun. But to me, it really just doesn't, Nathaniel Hawthorne, as much as I love Nathaniel Hawthorne, that could be done any time of the year. In fact, it's probably better to go on the off season when Salem is quiet, so that I can film a segment on Nathaniel Hawthorne. And last year I did stay at the Nathaniel Hawthorne Hotel, and I had, in my opinion, what had to be the best room in the whole hotel. I had a bird's eye view. It was the very top room, top floor, and I had a corner room, so I could see all of the rooftops of all of Salem. I could see the wharf. I could see the Salem Witch Mansion. I could see Liz, Witch City Wicks, Essex Street. I could see everything. It was like the sequence in Mary Poppins, the big dance sequence, with Dick Van Dyke, right? You know, you feel like you're on the rooftops. I was just looking at all of the rooftops with chimneys and smoke pouring out of them. Anyway, so I need to figure out something else to do in Salem other than haunted houses, like haunts. I don't want to do haunts. They don't allow photography, and you know, I want to do something a little bit more. Again, like I said, it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I'm gonna pull at the nostalgic heartstrings, so I'll work on that. But let me go way back, because I've been rambling. Hocus Pocus. So I'm gonna post a Hocus Pocus video. It's not gonna be the most in-depth thing, but it's pretty cool. If you've ever seen the end of that Salem video that I produced, it's pretty cool. And my hair. If you think my hair is crazy now, you gotta see my hair in that video. It's actually pretty cool. I grew it out. Like, it's really long in the back. I'm actually getting close to it now. And the natural curl, because it's humid, is starting to come back into my hair right now. Tanya says, still live after our vet trip. We've been live for 107 minutes, you're right. Creature features, says Diane. That's a great idea, but how do I make that work? Creature features. Do you mean like movie houses? Like going to see like old classic science fiction horror films? Is that what you mean? Creature features? Interesting. Do an apple cider comparison. I read that one already, but I still like it. And there's a lot of hard cider being made in my area. But when I initially read it, I just thought of like just straight up sweet apple cider. Go to family farms and try different apple cider. I like that. The hard cider is a great idea too. But you know, it's not a bad idea. I have to think about that one. Different varieties of pumpkins. That's cool. I know very little about the different varieties of pumpkins. So that might be something very interesting as well. This is really good, guys. And now that I can rewatch these lives and look at your comments, I can definitely check this out. I want an apple cider donut. We don't get those here. So Chris, about the apple cider donuts, every family farm, every market, every whatever has their own recipe in this area. It's such a great thing. They make they in a lot of cases they make and design their own machines. I don't know if they get like patents or whatever, but I know several places have their own machines that they've designed themselves to make the perfect apple cider. And there's one family farm close to where I am that's infamous for having the best apple cider donuts. The thing is, well, this is not a negative thing. I'm pointing out a negative, and I don't have to. They go stale in like 10 hours. So what's essential about apple cider donuts, because they're not using preservatives or anything like that, is that you need to eat them fresh, like right out of the hot oil. Bring on the sweet treats, says Nicole. I like it, right, Nicole? I want apple cider. We said that already. Apple cider sounds great. I'm back, says Mark. So we got Mark and Tanya Smith in the house. What about Maple Farm in Vermont? Well, I could go to Vermont, but there's an amazing New York, and I apologize for anyone who has like who's very loyal to a very specific, whether it's Canadian maple or Vermont maple syrup, Maine maple syrup, but there's a great New York maple syrup producer called Crown Maple. I think Chris, ages ago, Chris Rhodes, Industrial Wastelands, asked me about this. They are they're employing a lot of technology, which is interesting. There's always two sides of the coin. You have like the wineries, or in this case, maple syrups that like play by the old school rules. But then it's interesting to also see like those who are really using up-to-date technology, like figuring out how to fix very specific problems, or just maybe not fix problems, but how to increase the quality by using up-to-date, brand new technology. And Crown Maple is one of those. They're doing a lot of interesting things that are almost above my head. I had my own personal tour of the facility last year, and I'm like, I'm lost. I worked in a winery for a couple of years, like worked right in the barrel room, and I still didn't understand what was going on, but very interesting. So maybe we can do Crown Maple, but if we do or don't, make sure you look them up. They have a barrel-aged, very robust, bourbon barrel-aged maple syrup that's super dark. It's a late harvest syrup. It's great if you use maple syrup for something other than just like pancakes or waffles. If you're putting maple syrup in oatmeals, or you're using it as a sweetening agent instead of like honey, or if you're using it as a sweetening agent in actual dishes. It's a really, they make tons of really wonderful maple syrup, but that bourbon barrel aged one is really, really nice. Santa's Village has I'm sorry, Rachel. Santa's Village has to decorate their own gingerbread cookies. Santa's Village. I'm definitely going to spend more time with the gingerbread cookies at Santa's Village, Rachel. I love the idea. Please do this. Which one, Melissa? I'm always so behind in the comments because I go off on those long tangents. Just don't jump into a pile of leaves with a wet sucker. I will not do... Actually, that would be a fun thing to do. Because, like a Mythbusters thing, what would happen if I had if I did jump into a pile of wet leaves with a wet sucker, would the leaves stick to the lollipop? That might be a fun candle enthusiast Mythbusters experiment. You might have just given me an idea, Stephanie. Although, let's hope people watch it if I actually do it. Would anyone else be interested in a maple farm video? So yeah, so maple, this is something, you're right. Maple is something I don't talk a lot about. It's something I really do enjoy. I need to learn more about maple syrup. I was just hoping to do like a Quebec maple syrup video. Like, I just, in my heart, I've always wanted to bring the candle enthusiast up to Canada, and you know, it's just not in the cards yet. Maybe one day we'll get there, but it's just not in the cards yet. Okay, here's a good question. Okay, I'm gonna get back to it. Madeline S. Hocus Pocus is 25 years. No one else is 25 years? Nightmare for Christmas. Isn't that interesting? I feel like these comments are jumbled up, though. And Luce says, I've seen that Hocus Pocus video, and kudos on finding that spot. I really did spend a long time looking for that spot. And Horror Queen says, I like the long vlogs. See, Horror Queen, Laura, she digs the long ones. I do too. But I feel like sometimes people fall behind on my videos. The last thing they want to do is like catch up with like 5 videos that are an hour long. I wish I could do a full-length video and then divide them into pieces. But then when I do that, people seem to get angry with me. Like if I do an evaluation of 6 candles and then I split that video up in 6 parts as well, what happens is, if I do that, I'll quickly see like a drop of like 15, 20 subscribers, and that's not good. Because I think people think that I'm trying to like maximize my views, like, you know, like clickbait or something. It's not that. Some people like short videos. Some people like to put on a video. Like me, I love to just put on a video while I'm working. Justine, I'm sorry for bringing Justine up again, but she really had a great idea. I don't know if she was the first to do it, but she did a 24-hour long vlog of just all of her videos kind of from one year edited together. And I just had that thing playing. I remember I was editing something. I think it may have been last year's Santa's Village video, which probably culminated, the entire edit probably took me about 20 hours. So I probably had that on in the background, and it's just relaxing. Like, you don't sit there and really pay attention to every little detail, but it's nice to have it in the background. Or if you're watching a Christmas video, it's nice to have, like, you know, longer videos to play of Christmas that, you know, while you're wrapping gifts or something like that. But some people, when they fall behind, step in time. So thank you for, yes, the step in time dancing sequence is what I was referring to before. Thank you, Laura. You should do the funniest moments video, like the Norman Rockwell video that everyone always mentions, that guy in that robe. Man, I'm just glad I was rolling. That's all I can say. I'm just glad I had the camera rolling, because you know, there was no reason for me. I was eating. There was no reason for me to be rolling the camera. Yeah, I've been meaning to do like a bloopers, or just moments, edited out moments, or just funny moments, or just to get videos where I can squeeze a bunch of older footage together. Okay, so Madeline S. Will you have a Witch City Wicks promo code again this year? So this is a big topic. I'm going to say yes, but it's in the hands of Liz from Witch City Wicks right now. Let me recap if you don't know what's going on. Most of you do know what's going on. Liz has been selling out of her candles like a fiend. I put together my video this year. I'm not saying my video had anything to do with it, but I think that, there's just, it's a chain reaction. If I speak about Witch City Wicks or somebody else speaks about Witch City Wicks, and then the love keeps spreading. Plus, she's got the shop open now for 2 years, so in those 2 years, she's just building up a big, big audience, and it's hard for her to really, I would have to imagine, hard for her to really imagine how many candles she needs to make, because she doesn't do pre-orders, right? That might be something that she should do in the future, maybe. But she keeps selling out. So I did have a promo code last year. Liz has told me she will be giving me a promo code that's exclusive for the candle enthusiast. Not just that, there will be, I won't say what, because I want it to be a surprise, but there will be a little bonus sample candle in the box for candle enthusiast subscribers. So if you use the candle enthusiast promo code and you place an order, you will get the percentage. Don't get too excited. It's not going to be like 20% off. She's too small of a company to do that, and I would never want to do that to her. But it will be hopefully a nice percentage. Maybe if you purchased your candles already and you want to get a little extra something, you'll save some money. So there will be a percentage off. It won't be 2 weeks like last year. In fact, it might even be shorter than a week because of the rapid amount of sales that she's getting. And the reason behind this is not greed. It's not like, oh, I want more money, I want more money. She just said to me, she's like, I'm afraid that people are going to try to use your code, and it's going to be at a time when everything is sold out, and it's just going to create more frustration on everyone's part. So I told her, Liz, get through what you're trying to get through now. She's trying to fulfill orders. Sometime in September, I told her, pick a date, give me a percentage, give me the code, let me know, and we'll do it. Whether or not, can I promise it's going to happen? She said, she gave me my word, she said yes. But I also told her, please don't create extra stress for yourself. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we get a promo code this year. There was I'm bring back the full beard, says Mark Smith. Did I ever have a full beard on the Candle Enthusiast? But I might do the full beard. I might do it. I might take you up on that, Mark. I can't do like a nice chiseled soap opera guy or like a brawny man kind of thing. But I can do like an Irish kind of one of these, right? I might do it. I'm getting off topic. But we'll see what happens with Witch City Wicks. What I don't want you to do is don't wait to place your orders because you're gonna, you're waiting for a Candle Enthusiast promo code. Because it may be 5% off, it may be 10% off, it might be more, who knows. But like I said, she does restock throughout the year, but she also does sell out for the year. I promise you, I can almost promise you, and this is not coming from Liz, this is just coming from me watching what's happened over the course of several years. There's a point where like Sleepy Hollow will sell out for the year. And it won't be able to be restocked. So make sure you place your orders. And if you want a few extras, you want to order some extra wax melts, and you want to get this little bonus token that's exclusive for Candle Enthusiast fans, wait for that promo code. I'll try to give you as much of a heads up as possible. A honeybee farm, that is a great idea too. Honey and maple syrup. Thank you, Laura. Really, there's so much opportunity for me to do that. Unless you have allergies. I don't think I do. I've been stung a lot. Or, you mean allergies to honey. Candy stores in Salem. I wonder if there is a candy store in Salem. I'm trying to find my place here. Bring Back the Full Beard. We read that. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. There was a show called Creature Features that showed old-time horror movies when I was a kid. Yeah, right. Like in the realm of Vampira or Elvira. There was, what did we have? We didn't have it growing up, but I knew a local channel that had this guy called the Spooky Spectre, who would just introduce these public access television horror films, and those horror films were just public domain. So I could do that. Shane, did you ever have a full beard? Okay, so there it is. Yes, I have had a full beard. I had to shave completely when I started working in the wine industry, right? I just had to. Well, it wasn't the wine industry, but it was the culinary, right? Like they're very particular about like where your hair, your sideburns are cut off, and if you get a 5 o'clock shadow, you have to make sure you take care of that. The culinary is very strict when it comes to being groomed, which is probably the reason why I'm so careless when it comes to grooming these days. But before that, I did have a full beard, and it might come back because the goatee, I don't know. The goatee that's very like Matthew Perry, mid-1990s, isn't it? Did Matthew Perry have a goatee? I'm trying to think. Maybe Matthew Perry's a really bad example, but it's the first name that came to mind. I'm reading comments about how you guys apply and use a maple syrup. Very cool. Kettle corn is a great fall made outside. This is coming. Yeah, of course. Making popcorn is there's such an art to it, and there's a lot of equipment involved. And he designed his own kettle, and it was really fun to talk to the guy. And you know, he was a big Disney fan, so we were talking about Disney's popcorn. So sweet treats, and then popcorn balls are. Where have they gone? Where have all of the popcorn balls gone? I remember being a kid and being able to buy candy popcorn of all different flavors and colors and popcorn balls. Where are they? Candy canes. A candy cane factory. How awesome would that be? And makes me even think, is it too late? Well, yeah, because they're probably already made, but like, what about a candy corn factory? Is it Brockman's? Makes the honey. That's a great idea. I just wonder if I can pull that kind of stuff off. If they will give me the yes. I'm working on trying to get. Help me out, guys. Main kitchen, Stonewall Kitchen, because I'm gonna try to incorporate that while I'm up visiting Village. I'm working on it. Let's see if they give me a yes. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Yes, all of the items coming out for Nightmare Before Christmas 25th is amazing. I'm going to go broke, says Danny. Yeah. Villages, statuettes. Disney has their own selection. You know, it's dangerous. Is my Jack Skellington? No, I took my Jack Skellington down. I remember I had back in the day before, like, Nightmare Before Christmas was popular in the U.S., which there was a time in the mid-90s. The only really, like, paraphernalia you could buy was from Japan. So I had to order, like, from a company called June Planning, from Japan, and they made these really cool but very fragile. Like, here's Sally. Like, how beautiful is this? I can't confirm it, but I think most of, at least the Jack heads and the Sally face are actual reproductions, but from the original molds of the actual stop motion foam latex figurines. But these things, just like any other kind of, I guess it's a toy. I mean, I always used it for display purposes. I still do. They become very fragile over the years. Diane says no beard. Uh-oh. There's beard people and there's no beard people. Stephanie says she sold out in 10 minutes. Yeah, on the 24th, Witch City Wicks sold out in 10 minutes. And then the 31st restock, was it the first like 15 minutes? She sold out of 3 fragrances. Like the Sleepy Hollow was gone really quick. All Hallows Eve was gone really quick. And then, what was the other one? Poison Apple. See, Poison Apple, not that, I love the fragrance, but I'm surprised the Poison Apple sold out before the Pumpkinhead. Maybe she just made more Pumpkinhead because it was more popular, but the Pumpkinhead was available, at least for the first 12 hours after the restock. Lodi Wineries, says Elizabeth Holleran. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Lodi. Well, Lodi is a really far ways away from me. But when I do my California stuff, I would love to spend more time in my old stomping grounds in wine country out in California, spend some time in San Francisco. Of course, certain areas of Los Angeles, that would probably be another trip. But Lodi, for sure. If you guys are not familiar with Lodi, Lodi is infamous for making monstrously juicy and pretty high in alcohol Zinfandels. Great stuff. Not in every situation, but in some situations, some of the most juicy, fruit-forward, what I would call fruit bombs, as far as Zinfandel goes, is going to be coming out of the Lodi region in the U.S. And if anyone is, confuses Zinfandel with white Zinfandel, don't be confused. White Zinfandel is a rosé form of Zinfandel. Zinfandel is a red grape. It's actually an Italian grape called Primitivo. So it's a very prestigious, very old and respected grape. But it gets a little bit of a bad rap sometimes in the U.S. I think we're finally getting over those days, because people just associate white Zinfandel, or Zinfandel, the word Zinfandel for white Zinfandel, like a sweeter blush rosé style wine. But when I say Zinfandels, I'm talking like thick, blood thick, full-bodied, like the most full-bodied red wines. And like I said, in a lot of cases, very high in alcohol, but they have big fruit flavors, a lot of chocolatey flavors. I love Zinfandel. I've said this before, but if you want a little piece of trivia, I tasted 300 Zinfandels in 4 hours once in my life. 300 Zinfandels in 4 hours. I did not swallow. I expectorated. You spit into the thing, right? That was the only way to do it, because Zinfandel is classically, like I said, known for being a warm climate grape, which means high sugar. High sugar means high alcohol. And Diane says, never liked the beards. Vincent Price type of horror films are awesome. They are. Maybe I could do like a Mystery Science Theater commentary on public domain, like House on Haunted Hill, a William Castle film. A lot of you have probably seen it. It's a public domain film, which means like you don't, like it's free for anyone to use. I could literally post it on Instagram and I wouldn't have to pay any licensing fees. So maybe I could do like a commentary. That'd be kind of fun, right? Shane, you should make an Ed Wood style low budget horror movie. That would be so much fun, wouldn't it? I'll tell you what I did film, Angie. I don't know why I said your name so dramatically. What I did film was, I live very close to Poughkeepsie, New York, which was Ed Wood, the real Ed Wood's hometown. He claimed, the way the story goes, originally saw Bela Lugosi play the part of Dracula on a stage or a road tour performance of Dracula at a Poughkeepsie movie house, theater, whatever you want to call it. It still stands today. It's called the Bardavon. It's on Main Street in Poughkeepsie. If you remember my It's a Wonderful Life short video I did way back, I went to a movie house and saw It's a Wonderful Life. And that was the theater. That was the Bardavon. So the story goes that, because that Bardavon, that movie house, was only several blocks away from Ed Wood's, the house that he grew up in. So one of the first things I did when I started The Candle Enthusiast was, I was like, I'm gonna go document. It was abandoned at the time, or I thought it was abandoned. I mean, it had been abandoned. I'm gonna go to Ed Wood's home, look, the house that he grew up in, and I'm gonna do a little Ed Wood video. And apparently, I was maybe 2 weeks too late because they had bulldozed the house that was probably over 150 years old, maybe even closer to 200. They bulldozed the house and turned it into a parking lot. And it's just so sad because I know that for so many years there's people petitioning to turn it into an Ed Wood museum. But making an Ed Wood kind of movie would be fun. I need actors. That's the problem. Are you still doing a Poe video? I plan on it. Chris, I do. I have the candles. It's just, man, am I really... I'm not falling behind schedule. I just have a lot of candles to evaluate. So I want to make sure that I fulfill my obligations, my promises with companies that I said I was going to review their candles before I do something that's a little bit more of a passion evaluation video, like the Edgar Allan Poe comparison. I have several Edgar Allan Poe candles from several different companies, and we're going to do a little, like, you know, like wrestling bout, Royal Rumble, see which one is the best. Well, I'm not going to say the best, but we're going to compare them side by side. Vincent Price and his wife wrote an amazing cookbook. They did. They were both into wood. They were into food and wine. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Jamie, thank you for pointing that out. Vincent Price was a very you know, they approached him in 1982, or maybe it was 1981, to do the narration for Michael Jackson's Thriller. And as the story goes, told by Quincy Jones, it was kind of sad because he was so excited to do, like, creatures crawl out of every tomb, and then he did that laugh. You know, they recorded so much of it, and they actually had to cut a lot out. So it's interesting if you listen to all of the little, like, the stuff that they did cut out. But there's a live recording when they said, okay, that's a wrap, Vincent, we're done. And you could kind of just tell in the tone of his voice, he was sad for it to be over. I think he was so excited to be in the sound stage and to be using his voice and to be a part of such a really fun project. It's just sad that he didn't have more parts later in his life. You know, kind of a high five to Tim Burton for highlighting Vincent Price in his later years by putting him in Edward Scissorhands and narrating his short stop motion animation Vincent. Hot Topic has an insane collection coming out of Nightmare Before Christmas Anniversary. Yeah, Hot Topic is how I'm convinced. I am convinced. If it wasn't for Hot Topic, if anyone doesn't know what Hot Topic is, it's well, I don't know how you describe it, so I won't know. But it's a clothing store, it's an apparel store, buttons, pins. It's I don't know. It's kind of like always revolved around cult movies and cult bands and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm convinced that Hot Topic back in the early 2000s was partially responsible of making Nightmare Before Christmas popular. because it really was a cult film throughout the 90s, and then it exploded in the 2000s. And at some point, because it was released as a Touchstone film, Touchstone is a production company owned by Disney, but Disney didn't want to put their name anywhere on it because they were just afraid of, like, okay, ghosts, goblins, skeletons, death, all that stuff. They didn't want their name on it. But at some point, after the popularity, Disney had fully embraced Nightmare Before Christmas. But I think Hot Topic, if I remember, yeah, like when I was in late high school, that's when like all of like, and I mean this in the best way, you know, like the goth kids, you know, they would have the t-shirts and the sweaters and the little beanie hats and stuff, and all that stuff was purchased at Hot Topic. I just know Lodi from Sons of Anarchy. Creedence Clearwater Revival back in Lodi again. Yeah, I forgot about that. House on Haunted Hill is one of my favorites as Laurie. Yeah, it's always been one of mine too. William Castle, the director, didn't really make a ton of great films. They're all fun to watch, but House on Haunted Hill is like legitimately, it just rides that line of super campy, corny, maybe even just bad acting, for the exception of not Vincent Price, and I don't know the actress's name who played his wife in that film, but I loved the chemistry between the two of them in that film. But like, you know, the leading man and the leading woman, I don't know their names, but I don't know, I don't want to say it was the great acting, but there's just something about that movie that is just so classic. And then we have Maria, excuse me, saying, yep, I know June Planning. I have made lots of purchases from Hobby Link Japan. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, June Planning. Is it June Planning? That would be more of a French pronunciation. I'll be an extra, says Nicole, in my Ed Wood films. Pop culture, hence Hot Topic. Yeah. You know, it's like in high school, if I wanted to buy a Pink Floyd t-shirt or a Led Zeppelin t-shirt, that was my only option, right? Because you weren't going to find them anywhere else. I think you're being right about Hot Topic being instrumental and Nightmare Before Christmas being big. I think there's some truth to it. I'm not ashamed to say I love Hot Topic. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Hot Topic is awesome. I used to, in my car in high school, I used to have the whole top of my car out of Chevy Blazer. It was covered in pins of movies, Nintendo, horror films, rock and roll bands. Yes, I'm in my 30s, and Hot Topic was the it place for all of us rockers, or rocker outsiders. Ha ha, it still is. Love it for all of the Disney apparel. Stitch is my favorite. Cool. I didn't even know they had Stitch paraphernalia. But yeah, you know, I think the last time I was there is when I did my when Beauty and the Beast did the live action, like 2 Marches ago, came out. I went to Hot Topic to see, they had kind of like teenage, kind of scandalous if you're a father, scandalous like Belle dresses available, and they had a lot of like Disney, like just not like dark stuff, but just a lot of nice Disney stuff. You know what I did see there? I think it was them. They had a Little Mermaid t-shirt that had like an 80s or 70s metal font on it. And I was gonna buy it for my trip to Disneyland. I really was. And I didn't. I don't know why. I think they just didn't have my size. But I mean, it was great because it was like actually being able to find a Little Mermaid shirt for a guy. It was a guy's shirt. It wasn't a girl's shirt. So one thing about the Disney store, Disney shop, Disney.com, or even the stuff at Disney parks, it's all the same stuff. But I really get not frustrated, but I do think they're missing out. A lot of the female apparel that they make, there's guys like me who would buy that female apparel if it was made for men. It's just, I think it's just like they're really missing out. Like, I think they're assuming that guys wouldn't wear a Beauty and the Beast t-shirt or a Mary Poppins t-shirt or a Little Mermaid t-shirt and hoodies and stuff like that. And I think they're wrong. Am I the only one? I'd proudly wear my Beauty and the Beast t-shirt. I bought a few things there for my upcoming Disney trip. Nicole's going to Disneyland very soon, so she bought some of that Hot Topic. Very cool. Very, very cool. I just need to get a nice supercalifragilisticexpialidocious t-shirt. There's something with Mary Poppins and the licensing of Mary Poppins. It's clear because Disney just doesn't have a lot of Mary Poppins products, whether it be t-shirts, and if they do, it's always somehow derived from the Broadway show. So there must be a licensing issue there with, I don't know if it's the family of P.L. Travers or whatever it is. And like the fact that none of the parks have a Mary Poppins ride, like, come on, like how there's even been one of the head Disney Imagineer, forget the gentleman's name, but his first submission before he worked for the Walt Disney Company, or before it was even called Disney Imagineers, he submitted a concept for a Mary Poppins ride to Walt Disney himself. And they actually called him in, and this was when he was a kid. I'm trying to remember where I heard about this. I can't remember where I saw this. They turned it down. Obviously, he was just a kid, but they sent him away with some good feedback. And then later in life, he's the head Imagineer for the Walt Disney Parks, or at least Disney World. But a Mary Poppins ride? Are you kidding? Like that? Like how could they not do it? Like you get on a horse, right? Jolly Holiday horse, and you go through all of the many worlds of Mary Poppins. I just can't imagine how it hasn't been done. Bryce wanted a Disney Vampirina shirt, and they only had them marketed to little girls. So there's something. Yeah, Nicole's kind of confirming what I'm saying. It's a lot of the female apparel is just not made for little boys or for big boys like me. What's everyone's favorite all-time Disney movie? I can't answer that question, but if you guys can answer it, go for it. And Hard Queen says, I basically live in guys' t-shirts. So that's what's unfair, because girls can totally rock men's clothing. And I actually think it looks cool when they do. I think it's really cool when, like, especially like back in the day. I don't see it. It was maybe it was trending for a while. I think maybe like back in the days, like Jennifer Aniston on Friends, maybe, I don't know. Somebody made it trendy for in the 90s, girls wearing like guys like Bruce Springsteen jeans. I always thought that was a cool look for girls. All right, Carol's taken off. Bye, Carol. Thank you for joining us. Fantasia is Mystic Pizza's favorite Disney film. From someone who is crafty, you could cut out the figures you like on a t-shirt and adhere to men's t-shirts. So that's exactly what I used to do, Morgan. I used to buy really old retro like rock t-shirts, ones that had like holes in the armpits and just sort of just authentic. But one reason or another, maybe they didn't fit well, but I would buy them on eBay. This was a long time ago. And I would cut out the artwork, and then I would stitch it. That's right. My grandmother and all of her sisters, they owned a dress factory, or they ran a dress factory when they were young girls. So when I was a kid, I learned how to use a sewing machine and sew from a very young age. But anyway, so I'd buy like a hoodie, and then I would take that artwork and I would somehow kind of stitch it on there, even like maybe slice it up the middle if it was a hoodie. So this way I could like zip it up. But I would definitely use like what some people would consider like like clothing that they would discard, but like authentic, real, like Pink Floyd concert T-shirts, and make my own clothing. I sold a lot of them too. Gotta run. Nikki says, Nikki, thank you for joining us today. I just want to make sure that I'm reading everyone's comments, and I'm going to go through the video later today and read everyone's comments. But I think this is a great place to start to cap things off. So if you guys, this is the point where I do want to bring up a few things. I always do this at the end of every live vlog. I should do it halfway through. Patreon.com/thecandleenthusiast. I've already talked about it. Make sure you check it out. It's a way to help pledge, contribute, help finance the show, whether it's $1 a week, $2 a week, $1 a month, $2 a month, whatever you want to do. A lot of people are joining in. You never, ever, ever, ever have to feel obligated to do this. This is not something, by contributing to Patreon doesn't make you somehow a better viewer of the Candle Enthusiast. However, if you do want to help, if you have that extra dollar, or if you want to get a little bit of a bonus, throw in some money once a month and then get something in return, there's plenty of options. But at the very least, go to the account and read the mission statements if you haven't already. It's a great way to kind of figure out what I'm trying to do, what direction I'm going in. 2019, I say it every week, 2019 is going to be a big year for us, because it's really when I'm going to try to make this mushroom out as far as content, and really try to make diverse style videos. It's been candles all of the way, and candles will never go anyway, but we needed to build an audience, and now we have an audience, we can do other things. But to grow, to evolve, to change, to take on bigger obstacles, financing is key, right? It's key. So even if you think $1 doesn't mean anything, it does. It really does. So patreon.com/thecandleenthusiast is one of many ways that you can help the channel. eBay auctions, Mark's here. I know Mark is always asking about eBay auctions. I am just being a slacker on it because I have some really cool stuff that I'm going to be putting up on eBay. So my seller account, again, it's the official eBay account for the Candle Enthusiast. 100% of the proceeds go back into the show to fund the show. It's the seller name is Aromatic Adventures. Aromatic Adventures. Or if you just type in, I always tell people to type in the Candle Enthusiast, or just type in Mary Tyler Moore mug. That'll bring you to my Candle Enthusiast mug, and then you can look at all my other items. Right now I got nothing up because all of my Witch's Cauldron Kringle Halloween candles are sold out. The Wolfsbane, I'm done. The Fright Nights are sold out. Those are candles that were retired from Kringle from years ago, 2014, and I finally, they've helped raise tons of money, and you know who you are, who helped really help fund the channel by purchasing one of those candles. But eBay, but let's really focus on Patreon. Go over the Patreon, especially if you've always said you were going to check it out and you haven't really gotten around to it. Just go over there and read. Just read, see what's there. And if there's like an option, a tier, an idea that you have, something that I could offer for, you know, because it works like, you know, $1 tier, $3 tier, $5 tier, 10, 20. If there's a tier, there's an idea that you have, I'm all ears. You know how to contact me. Candleenthusiast@yahoo.com. It might take some time, but either way, just contact me in some form. And thank you for all the wonderful suggestions today. I really, really appreciate it. But let me say this one more time. Let me just say it one more time. I've already said it today, and I say it every week. You never, ever, ever, ever have to feel like you have to contribute or pledge money to this channel. The whole point of this channel is that all of my content is and will always be free. But like PBS, like classical radio, music channels, they have to go through those awkward periods where they try to raise money. And that's exactly what I have to do. If it wasn't for contributions, I couldn't do this show. So you guys literally keep the show going. Otherwise, I would have had to retire the Candle Enthusiast long over a year ago. So keep that in mind. It's because of you guys that this is still going on. So tons of adventures coming up, but candle evaluations as well. I gotta go check on Elsa because I am so afraid she's in the garbage. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday. Email me if you need anything, but remember, you can always come back to this video, and thumbs up is another thing. Bill Miller, thank you for mentioning that. Make sure before you leave to give a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, because it does help, believe it or not, it does help. Make sure you come back to this video later on. If you have any questions, leave comments, because guess what also helps me out when it comes to statistics on YouTube? Comments. Comments are good. More comments tells YouTube that this video is relevant. So it makes it, by leaving comments, by giving thumbs up, it helps YouTube understand what videos they should be promoting and suggesting to people. So it's a great way, by leaving comments and giving thumbs up, it's a great way for people to find me, this channel, you guys, the Candle Enthusiasts, so on and so forth. But that's gonna be it. I want everyone to have a great Sunday. It's another gloomy Sunday for me, but I have some editing to do. I have some cooking to do today. But everyone have a wonderful, wonderful week and a beautiful rest of the day. And reach out to me if you need anything at all. And it's laying down. But remember, these Marilyn Monroe plaques, if you don't even know what I'm talking about, email me. I'm not going to sell these. I won't sell these. I can't. But these are Marilyn Monroe plaques that are made out of the actual grave marker of Marilyn Monroe. And I don't, like, again, I feel morbid selling them, but I think they're beautiful tokens if you're a big Marilyn Monroe fan. Email if you're interested, because what we can do is, if you want to contribute whatever you want to the channel, maybe we could do something. You contribute to the channel, and then as a gift, I'll send you one of those. But I remember I only have 4, so I'm looking for that to really help out with the expenses and the budget for this upcoming season. So just putting that out there as well. Thank you all for joining. Still 40 people in the room and only 20 thumbs ups. Maybe some of you guys are watching it on TV. Okay. Either way, guys, thank you so much. I love you all. We will be talking to you very soon. Bye-bye now.